indispensable tools in transforming industries, advancing research, and shaping how we teach, how we learn, how we innovate, and recognizing its potential. UMS is taking proactive steps to ensure that we navigate uh, this journey responsibly and strategically. Today's talk, or the program today, is an integral part of that effort as we gather insight and inspirations from our three distinguished speakers. So, allow me to extend our warmest welcome to our eminent speakers today. The first one is technologist Dr. Fazidah Abu Bakar. Uh, thank you, Doctor. The Director General of Malaysia National Digital Department, who will share Doctor, her expertise on the national landscape of digital transformations, offering valuable insight on how Malaysia is leveraging AI to drive development and progress. Thank you, Doctor. And then our second speakers, Dr. Venkataraman Balaji, the Vice President of the Commonwealth of Learning. Uh, I think he's here. Um, who will guide us through the policy framework of AI, shedding light on global perspectives and strategic policy imperatives that can shape our approach. And last but not least, the Professor Dr. Rayner, Alfred, my friend, the Director of the Creative Advanced Machine Learning Machine Intelligence Research Center, who will address the critical aspect of AI development, the ethics and accountability. So the topic that will underscore the need for responsible and transparent use of AI in society. So all of these speakers bring a wealth of knowledge and experience that is invaluable to us as we work towards drafting UM's very own AI policy. So this policy will serve as a roadmap to guide our institutions in leveraging AI for academic excellence, operational efficiency, and impactful research while upholding our values of integrity, inclusivity, and sustainability. So today's session is not just a learning opportunity, but a call to actions as we listen to our speakers and engage in discussions. I encourage all of us to think critically and creatively about the role of AI that will play in shaping the future of our university. So let us remain mindful that the decision we make today will have lasting implications for our students, our faculty, and the communities that we serve. So let us ensure that AI become a tools for empowerment and equity, fostering innovations and collaboration across all domains. So on behalf of UMS, I would like to thank our esteemed speakers for taking your time, despite all your busy schedule, I believe, to share your insight and expertise. Your contributions are invaluable to our ongoing efforts. So with that, let us dive into today's discussions and make this program a milestone in UMS AI journey. So thank you, and I look forward to an engaging and thought-provoking session today. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dan salam sejahtera. I pass to you, Farah.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Awang Asri. As we know that we have three panelists today. Okay, so we'll start the first session with our first panelist. That we're so grateful for his time. He came from, he's actually based in Vancouver, Canada. So we have Dr. Venkataraman Balaji. Okay, so before Dr. Balaji start, maybe I would introduce a little bit more. Dr. Venkataraman Balaji, I think he took over as what is being mentioned here. He took over as the Vice President of Commonwealth of Learning, which is based in Vancouver, Canada, on the 1st of January since 2019. So he has served as the director. Before this, he had served as the Director of Technology and Knowledge Management at COL, which is the Commonwealth of Learning, since September 2010. And he is a specialist in the area of information and ICT technology applied to rural development. His work at COL in applied technology has focused on testing new models and practices in technology mediated outreach that can be deployed in the support of learning at all levels. So his role also included work related to MOOCs and Optus. So in the framework of Teacher in the Loop AI, he is currently supporting generative AI work in extending support for OER adaptation and in management of Moodle LMS in the Pacific Island countries. Dr. Balaji, as we explore the role of AI in education, could you share your thoughts on how AI policy can be defined with clear principles and goals, while we also address the challenges such as ethics, inclusivity, and innovation? Additionally, how can higher education institutions and global partnerships contribute to shaping effective AI governance, particularly in the context of online and flexible learning? So, Dr. Balaji, the floor is yours, and you may open your mic to start your sharing. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very grateful for this invitation. Dr. Shazila, Farah Shazila, thank you for your very kind introduction. I want to recognize the presence and leadership of the CDO of the University of Malaysia at Sabah. And I'm also honored to be co-paneling with the Director General of National Digital Department of Malaysian Government, as well as with Professor Rayner Alfred. I'm deeply honored, and this honor was originally extended to Professor Peter Scott, the president of CAL, and he has a prior commitment and he has to be elsewhere, which is why he could not join. He suggested my name, and I'm grateful to the organizers for accepting his nomination. I also want to recognize the facilitational role played by Mr. Zamri Musa, who has been extremely helpful in bringing us together, especially securing my participation in this meeting. So, the next about 40 minutes or so, I want to share with you some ideas, some information, also some insights derived from experience from Carl's own work. So, the sum and substance of our message is that today there are far too many changes taking place in technology, sweeping changes, and it's very difficult to define procedures after procedures to make sure that AI, generative AI especially, functions in a university according to the directions of the faculty and the leaders of faculty. That may not always happen. As we all agree, principles are important. Principles can always help you define new procedures, and principles will also help you take into account sudden changes that may be coming about. So, with these few words of introduction, I want to start sharing my screen, and maybe one of you can tell me if you are able to see my screen. Okay, so let me.
Yes, we can see your
Right, you're
screen.
able to see my screen. Excellent. Thank you. So, what I'm talking about today is how we are going from generation to agency. Because there are sweeping changes, as I mentioned, in AI. And the sweeping changes force us to understand that we are no longer talking of just generative AI alone. And agentic AI is rapidly taking its place. And today also, I mean, it's 14th for me. I mean, it's 15th for you, it's 14th for me. 14th of January is the World Logic Day. I mean, my day is the World Logic Day. You know why it is named World Logic Day? Two very key people in the world of logic, mathematical logic, especially Tarski and Kurt Gödel, One was born, Tarski was born today, and Gödel passed away today. So UNESCO declared this a World Logic Day in honor of those two eminent logicians whose many ideas and procedures deeply underlie machine learning today. Now, what is call? I'll take 2 minutes to explain what call is because you have a very large audience of very distinguished people, and they might not be familiar with who we are in terms of our organization. Call is an intergovernmental agency. It is founded by prime ministers of Commonwealth countries. You can see some of them. Some you may even recognize from your country or from your own region. And Commonwealth governments founded call to help them understand and appreciate the use of technologies to improve and expand access to education and training. Where are we located? We are located in Vancouver. I mean, this is a very beautiful city. I've been to, Kota Kinabalu a few times, and I always considered it one of the most beautiful cities of the world, especially Asia. Malaysia is a beautiful country, but the most beautiful part of Malaysia is East, and the most beautiful part of East is your city, Kota Kinabalu. I've been to Sandakan also a few times. I greatly appreciate the opportunity that was given to me earlier. And Metro Vancouver is also a very beautiful city. It has a beautiful waterfront, just like the way Kota Kinabalu has. We have a regional office in Delhi, which is a very small office, but it's hosted by Government of India to support our work in Asian region. Let me set the context. AI, as you know, has been evolving, especially evolving fast in the last 3 years. But it started out as automation. We were always using software, a lot of software with some minor AI, like dictionary in Word, dictionary in PowerPoint, or in Office products, etc. And then some of us have used algorithmic grading tools. But then MOOCs arose, and along with MOOCs came learning analytics, and it helped people personalize learning to some extent because based on data, you could understand where a student was at risk, and therefore you could apply remedial measures. And so the student success was kind of managed with the help of data, especially where MOOCs were involved. Then arose
Um,
adaptive learning systems,
Sorry,
personalized content.
Dr.
Hello?
Dr.
Yeah,
Balaji, can you
yeah.
hear my voice? Before that, can I know if your slide is moving at your part?
Okay, it's moving on my side. Okay, let me go back and start sharing the screen again.
Okay,
Does I can move from the from my shared screen. That's even easier. Eh,
okay, all right.
Okay, right. So it's World Logic Day. Then this is you should have seen this. Can you see the prime ministers?
Yes, yes. So now I think
Right.
we are synced. Just now it
Oh,
was on
sorry
the
about
first
that.
first. No, no, no
Right.
problem.
Okay.
Okay,
So
but
you
thank
see the
you.
prime ministers of various countries who founded Commonwealth of Learning. That includes people from your own country. And as I mentioned, we are here to improve and expand access to education. We are in Metro Vancouver. I'm in Metro Vancouver. We have a regional office in Delhi. And in terms of setting the context, I was talking about the importance of learning analytics and then how adaptive learning systems became important, personalized content and early recommender systems. Some of you who may have been using Coursera know that this is very deeply built in a platform like Coursera. There are many others that make use of it as well. Then in November 22 arose the generative AI phenomenon with ChatGPT and DALL-E, and there were a number of competing products, text to image or text to video tools, etc. All arose. You're making use of many of them, I'm sure, in your daily life. But as we speak, there is a rapid transition to agentic AI. I mean, in other words, we are no longer talking of content generation alone from AI. We are also looking at decision making and performing complex tasks using AI. A very simple example, some of you who are using Gemini, in case you're using Gemini, the current version, you will find that Gemini has built-in features like Gemini 1.5 Pro with deep research. You can publish a document as a very well-formatted paper. And that's a kind of an agentic action, and that's becoming more and more common in many areas. I'm giving just one example. And that's why this individual, some of you might recognize him, is the CEO of Microsoft. He said that SaaS, software as a service, is the past. In fact, when we talk of services like chatbot, they're based on SaaS. There is a technology stack behind that. At the front end is the chatbot. Behind that are a whole lot of software that are cloud hosted, etc. Now, AI agents are the future. The reason being that you really don't have to talk to software. Software will talk to software and will get your job done. You can simply instruct that I need to find the best plane ticket to go to, say, Sandakan. And presto, in a few minutes later, your ticket is bought, your credit card is charged, and it's delivered to you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be clicking through multiple applications. So that's already a reality. Now, how are universities going to take advantage of this? That's why I said, these are rapid changes. These are also sweeping changes. This is why we say, let's look at the principles rather than look at procedures, because the principles are extremely important. The first and foremost in the world of AI is equity and access, that we ensure that all students benefit from AI, irrespective of their location and context, and irrespective of their personal dispositions and abilities. Everyone should benefit. Ethics and responsibility, because ethics, again, these two E's are everything. That's one reason why in call we always say everything else is next, secondary, but equity and ethics come first. Encouraging transparency, accountability, and privacy safeguards, because safeguards are extremely important. As you know, Google delayed release of a number of their services because they were not at all sure of the safeguards, the guardrails, and they only recently released it. Then quality assurance, validity and reliability of AI-driven assessments. I wanted to mention that when Zamri Musa spoke to my colleague, he wanted more to focus on EU and their regulation. We are not doing that in this talk now. Part of the reason is that they are changing. But the important point is that AI-driven assessments are a no-no under EU regulation, because AI-driven assessments are amounting to equivalent of social credit, and therefore, a mistake somewhere or a bias somewhere can permanently mark a person down or mark a person up. So they're very, very careful with that. Scalability and sustainability extremely important, so that we have a great product that many people can't use. We don't want that. And institutional autonomy and culture, extremely important. So nationally, the federal government or another such government should not lay down one set of procedures that apply to everyone. That's not how it's going to work in the world of AI. And therefore, navigating challenges in AI policy making requires us first to pay attention to ethics. And the ethics for us is data privacy, so the student data is protected and is not misused. The other is bias and fairness. All of us are aware that algorithms can be biased very easily because they are based on the data that is used for training. I mean, it's a secret that many companies don't reveal the training data sets they use. But depending on the data sets you use, the bias can be stronger or lighter or weaker. And fairness can be higher or lower depending on the data sets you use and the way you design the algorithms. That's one reason why, a lot of social credit type scores, which can easily come into assessments, are not permitted in some countries, in some regions. Inclusivity is extremely important, so that not only people in remote areas, also people with different abilities should be covered. And most important one for us is cultural sensitivity. I always used to cite this example of how ChatGPT would respond to a query about how to dress up for a party, and how Falcon, which is primarily built in the United Arab Emirates, would respond to the same query. I mean, cultural sensitivity is extremely important, and we don't want to give it up. The other one is balancing innovation. Rapid technology change is already taking place. That's why agile policy frameworks rather than strict procedures. However, we should also avoid over-regulation, because over-regulation can stifle innovation, can prevent experiments from proceeding. So here, what I thought I would do is to offer illustrative comparisons for educational implementation. National strategies are required. This is something we understand. I mean, it's not enough for institutions to have AI strategies. It's safe to start with nationally understood principles, and based on those, you can formulate regulations from time to time. This is extremely important. That protects the university leadership from either overreach or being or accusations of overregulation or underperformance. For example, Canada, where I am today, was one of the first countries to start with national AI strategy. And among institutions in the Commonwealth, especially in the open learning system, the Open University started first. So I'll speak briefly about them. First, Canada. Canada was a leader, a pioneer. Back in 2017, they created a pan-Canadian, multi-sectoral, all-region kind of strategy and focused on research talent development and ecosystem building. As you can notice, universities were playing a very important role. University involvement in shaping responsible AI was highly regarded. It's highly regarded to this minute. And other one is data governance. I'll keep coming back to that. Data strategy and data strategies implementation plan. They should be aligned. I mean, Canada takes a lot of pride in making sure that this happens. And the key takeaways: build the ecosystem, promote responsible innovation, but make sure that all of them are well founded in data ethics. Then comes a country that you would be very familiar with, Singapore. We find that Singapore's Ministry of Education has provided a kind of a model for many small states. I mean, Malaysia is not a small state, but there are 32 small states in the Commonwealth. So we find that Singapore has kind of offered a great model for all of them, some even for bigger countries as well. One is how they have powered learning management systems in NTU and NUS, highly personalized content, adaptive feedback. The Ministry of Education, through its ALS, Adaptive Learning Systems, is taking it to schools. And there's a much larger program called AI Singapore, which can cover multiple sectors. And the key takeaway here is that strong government support. It's the key. And this is the one aspect I will keep repeating because I come from an intergovernmental agency. The other one is United Kingdom's skills and lifelong learning approach. United Kingdom invested very heavily in AI skills. Back in 2018, as you can see, they all invested almost 300 million pounds, so quite a lot of money. And there is a business competency framework which governs the development of AI skills. I mean, so this is extremely important. They have a national skills service proposal and a platform, good accreditation. And you can note that diversity inclusion were built in ab initio, not as later thoughts, afterthoughts, always built in from day zero. And there was a lot of skepticism in United Kingdom about AI. There is still a lot of skepticism, but there is increasing acceptance because there is greater literacy on AI matters. So the key takeaway here is that you should start future-proof the workforce. I mean, in other words, you can because today many of these things are coming together. Skill development and higher education are rapidly coming together. Future-proofing the workforce is also one way the university can contribute to the larger society as well as to university's own internal governance of AI. The Open University, in fact, CAL was founded upon the inspiration of success of Open University. So we regard them very highly. We associate with them very frequently, closely. Professor Scott used to be a senior faculty director of one of the big laboratories of Knowledge Media Institute of OU before some time back. And they also invested 3 million pounds in collaboration with the Department of Education. Generative AI has a strong guidance there, so it's not randomly applied. One area where it is applied is course design. And there's a lot of AI-powered tools are used. This is really faculty oriented. And one is that when you come to student centering, a lot of student-centered approaches and ethical AI go together. In other words, blending automation with human mentorship. That's the principle. I'll again come back to this principle also towards the end. So now, summarizing all this, what do we see? Typically, higher education institutions and AI integration looks at least 4 dimensions. Chatbots and virtual assistants for instant support, personalized learning, adaptive course framework is extremely important. That's one of the dimensions. Then improving administrative efficiency like automating admissions, scheduling, even grading where permitted. Of course, there are concerns about reliability. So that's being addressed. That's the 4th dimension. And then ethical usage. And unclear regulations can cloud a lot of these actions in the other areas. So, in other words, if you have lack of clarity in your ethical approach, you'll find that the other three dimensions like personalized learning and administrative efficiency will be affected. So what I found was that Educas, an organization that some of you would be very familiar with, based in North America, have published a very good roadmap for AI in smaller institutions. When we say smaller, we are looking at 25,000 people or less in total student strength. One is they suggest that we understand the AI landscape of your institution and familiarize you with different types of AI tools available. This is extremely important. I mean, especially for a state level university like UMS. It's good to build awareness among faculty and support staff on general productivity tools as well as embedded tools. Focus on data. You remember I spoke about focus on data. This is an essential foundation. Always prioritize good data management practices. Ensure that data is cleaned and has its high quality. Its storage, access, and governance these should also be really well governed based on solid principles as well as very good procedures. This is a very fundamental aspect of any roadmap for AI in smaller institutions, even larger institutions. The other is coordination. You do need, I mean, a person like Malaysia institutions like UMS have understood the power of this, and that's why there is a CDO, a distinguished CDO, who's sitting with us here today. And that office can foster a culture of learning and experimentation. The other is planning and governance. Develop clear guidelines and principles. Again, I keep repeating the word principles. Don't keep rushing into policies unless you have clear principles. And review relevant policies, which include data use. And always go for pilots before you launch out on scale, because AI at scale can be very different from AI at much lower scale. And therefore, a certain gradualism and phasing in is always going to be extremely important. Then ethical considerations, again, we would note that balancing innovation with ethics is extremely important. Innovations are taking place at a rapid rate. In a country like Malaysia, more than Canada, I can imagine so many more innovations taking place per capita because, people in Malaysia would regard AI as a totally new opportunity for national prosperity. That's not how it's regarded here in Canada. Preserving human values, especially mentorship, is important. Critical thinking should be encouraged. AI should not be used to put that down. Then data protection. I keep coming back to that because without data protection, a lot of governments are going to come down very heavily on sector heads, whether it's a university sector head or a business sector head. And then we have excellent frameworks that have been published by UNESCO, the OECD. We can make use of them when it comes to responsible use. Then we are looking at regulatory frameworks. As I said, when we were asked to participate in this, we were asked to comment on specifically on multiple systems, especially the European Union Act. And what we found is that there are lots of changes coming up, quite a lot of changes. In fact, that's one reason why we are not going into those details. But what we find is that EU and Canada at this point in time have comprehensive AI regulations. It's really up to the national director. I mean, we have the general director general here. They can study that, and some of them, in our humble view, could even stifle innovation. But you have to find ways to get around that. Especially the EU one can be highly restrictive because EU exempts only military grade AI from the regulations. Everything else is very tightly controlled. Whereas United States and UK tend to be more sector based. Their guidelines are not even binding. I mean, in other words, they take the other view that we should not stifle innovation through over regulations. EU takes the view that without regulations, we are in serious trouble. So we are two kind of positions. They're not polar positions, they are two positions. It's safe for Commonwealth countries such as Malaysia to follow a middle path, not over regulation, not under regulation. US, UK are very relatively light, and whereas EU and Canada are extremely tight. So you can find the right one. The APAC region, where Malaysia is located, has no particular regional approach. Of course, China is leading with a number of targeted measures, But China can afford to do many things because they have so many technologies and they are so good at creating new AI technologies. So their regulatory framework is really, it's like having systems for very rich people, which cannot apply to people with middle income. So the same way here, China's regulation measure, they're extremely sophisticated. The other is risk-based approaches. High-risk AI systems will be subject to stricter obligations. For example, people are saying that there are already yesterday there was a major publication in Canada in a newspaper that it should not be used in medical diagnosis or to create prescriptions, and it is being done. People are using it for writing diagnostic analysis as well as prescriptions. They said that should not be done. That's a high-risk area, so you can imagine that will come under high regulations. So international bodies, OECD, UNESCO especially, and United Nations as a whole, have some detailed ethical principles. These are relatively easy to adhere to because they are based on negotiated statements from governments where a country like Malaysia has played a very important role. Then, what are the key insights we are deriving from all this for universities? One is develop clear AI governance frameworks, start with principles, align with national or state level ethical, regulatory, and values, as well as with institutional values. Most important, foster AI literacy. I'm delighted that the chime is ringing all the minute, every minute here because lots and lots of people are here. I don't know how many, but I have a feeling that there are over 150 people here already. That's fantastic. I greatly appreciate that. That's the cornerstone for literacy training. The other is data practices, adapt responsible data practices, data privacy, fairness, transparency. This, as I said, is the cornerstone. It's the foundational principle. Then you go for seeking collaborative funding and partnerships. And I would always encourage universities to go for multi-sectoral partnerships rather than bilateral ones only with one sector. I mean, you don't work only with government, you don't only work with for-profits. Always in most projects, look for multi-stakeholders. You'll find that that's far more rewarding, and universities' convening role in the society would be bolstered that way. It's something we should foster. The other is balance the human connection and automation, leverage AI, but make sure that the human interaction is never lost. So now that I'm almost slightly over halfway through my talk, I thought I would introduce something that the universities such as UMS could do. Some of you will know this individual, Professor Andrew Ng. I mean, a kind of a very, very highly regarded figure in the area of AI, founder of Coursera, and I don't know how many more companies he has founded and which are extremely successful. Professor Ng always said that don't go by the size of the model parameters. He says, for example, I can run a model with the 1 billion or 10 billion in my laptop. And if I'm working on an airplane without Wi-Fi, he can even run the model in his laptop to help him with his work. So his view is that a model of modest size works fine. For example, if you're doing a dictionary work, I mean, you're only correcting student sentences. You don't need a 175 billion parameter one, whereas a 2 or 3 billion one is enough, and that can run from a laptop. As you know, Apple is already iPhone 16 Pro already has $2 or $3 billion models working directly inside the device. Later, I'll show you as I finish my talk. We are doing that with another kind of mobile device. So this is an important one. This is where, when we know that we really select the purpose and fit the AI agent for it, AI model for it. If we do that, you find that universities can then become proactive AI co-creators. That's where we should be going. In other words, we need not always be acting as consumers of services provided by large companies, be it Google, be it Microsoft, OpenAI, or be it Apple or anyone else. I mean, we can and we should be able to do quite a bit of co-creation in this, and we can be proactive, like following Andrew Ng's line that we fit the model for the purpose. We don't use a very big model to do a very small job, right? And also, what has happened is that there are a lot of open source large language models that have come out in the last 2 years. And even today, before I walked in, I found that Coco Rose, the new model that was released today, with just 82 million parameters, and it can do great inferencing. It's really great at inferencing. It didn't exist day before yesterday. That's the speed with which new models are coming out. However, what you find is that businesses are not adapting open source models because they don't want to invest in the customization process. They like Microsoft Copilot rather than use an open source model and customize it. Now, that is where I say that their hesitation is our opportunity. Universities can and should be proactive co-creators in the evolving landscape of AI. I mean, universities played a big role in promoting open source software like Drupal, like WordPress. A lot of university people in their spare time as well as in their office time have contributed to their development. And today they're keeping the costs low in many of our operations, right? And why universities? I mean, you can give many reasons, but I'm giving a few reasons that you should find convincing. One is that you, as a university, have great research expertise. And more than anything, there's tremendous interdisciplinary knowledge in a typical university on AI, ethics, as well as pedagogy. I mean, right, this panel has a huge concentration of AI knowledge from UMS itself. And as you can see in United States, they are going ahead with forming multilateral partnerships among universities to promote open source LLMs. Like, you have something called AI Allo, which is based on, which is built with Arizona University, Vanderbilt, and Harvard University partnerships. And this is on focusing online learning on for adult learners. I think the very prestigious NSF has endowed an AI institute on trustworthy AI in weather, climate, and coastal oceanography. Whether you know what's happening in Los Angeles caused by high winds. Some of these things could be anticipated in future with models like this, and you need ethically sound and data-wise sound models, and that's a process that they're building together openly in the public sector. And universities, as you can see, are playing a very big role. And your talent pool is constant influx of students and researchers. Fresh perspectives is a asset. And universities have a very strong tradition of being ethical in in all matters, especially in this matter. And given that university has a dimension to engage with society, this would be one more reason why universities should engage. And what can they do? One, you can if you can develop LLMs, because today LLM development is a relatively easy task, and you can see that even small groups of individuals are able to create them, and universities can do more. They can also customize them. They can also customize LLMs, and we will later see one. They can be used for research or administrative functions. In fact, I was challenging my group to build things on an open source LLM such that the university will not even need a website. They simply converse with the service and they get all the information they need. They can then engage with an agent for transactions and build AI governance frameworks. Later on, you'll see how University of Florida is doing this with the NVIDIA's help. And foster AI literacy. This is extremely important. As I said, you have a huge asset here, like the group of people already participating in this. It's a huge group. That's a big asset. And collaborate with industry and government. Always go for multi-partner arrangements. And which are the universities leading this way? Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. is a leader in AI governance. You should see some of their publications, and they come from a lot of inner strength. And let's also not forget that Georgetown University played a very big role in governance of OpenAI as a company. You would have learned some of this when some controversies arose about firing of people out of the board and then they rejoining the board, etc. Georgetown has been playing that role. They have a very powerful influence on OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT. University of Florida is building a lot of AI governance resources. In fact, I would appeal to the CDO to take University of Florida seriously in this regard. They also have a partnership with NVIDIA, which helps them tap some very good resources from that company. And Indiana University, University of Minnesota, again, are very active in AI governance discussions and initiative. And these are very creative outputs coming from there. Of course, not to speak of Stanford, whose Cyber Policy Center is a leader in thinking about generative AI. And it's easy to build UMS into one such institution for the region. I mean, Southeast Asian region. University of Michigan, whose current president used to be the president of University of British Columbia in this town in Vancouver, is the major champion of open source, and he has used the open source version of GPT plus many others to build a wide range of generative AI services for his university. It's a miraculous development, and you should sort of learn more about it. And it's really an inspiring set of examples that he's providing. And what challenges did they overcome? That's where our interest is. One is a lot of resource constraints. Computational costs are high. Any one of you who's offering a service built on something like open AI services know that the cost can be very high. You can outrun very easily. It's a big risk in building those services. There are other barriers, like highly centralized organizations can't easily take those steps. You need a more nimble, decentralized structure. Most important is ethical concern. Universities realize that it's very easy to violate what you take for granted as ordinary ethics. So you need ongoing audits and clear guidelines. Then, continuing that, I would talk about data privacy, algorithmic bias. These two universities have repeatedly encountered, and they've overcome them. And human oversight is everything. That's what they've discovered. That's something I wanted to present and share with you. So there are a few very solid universities who have had big successes. These are small universities. Walden is a small university. They built a personalized tutor using open source LLM, supported by Google, of course. Georgia State University has phones to help incoming students. Cal Poly has a major AI platform, but not in higher education, but something called Khan Migo, based on Khan Academy. It's an open AI supported partnership, which is doing extremely well. And what are we doing in call? I thought I would close my talk with some information about what we are doing. One is we are doing a lot of work in open source LLMs at call. You see this used computer. This is what we are using to run multiple open source LLMs to offer services internally to our own staff. Currently, we are using Llama 3.2, Mistral, or Quen. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's from Alibaba company. It's an open source LLM. 5 from Microsoft. All these are available. Our people test them for pedagogic purposes to generate OERs, to adapt OERs, etc. You can very easily do that. We are ready to work with you. In building a pilot system in UMS in one of the departments. And our app test, which is, as you can see, a tiny little server, mobile device now built on Raspberry Pi. We have been able to successfully test 3 open source models. With that means students working in these kinds of circumstances, you can say under the tree, school under the tree. Now they can have access to generative AI service. They don't need to be connected to the internet. That's our vision, and we are getting there very, very soon. So we have been offering AI-powered Moodle support to USP because USP has the Semester Zero program for incoming students. They come from 16 different countries and often are highly unfamiliar with life in the university milieu. So they've been offering this course. We helped them convert it first to online. Then we created a GPT-powered Moodle support system because only 3 ICT staff they have, but the number of students is 2,800. So they were managed with the help of a GPT-powered Moodle support, and over 85% learners have expressed satisfaction. As I speak to you, we are starting the next offering, and this time they will have 5,500 students, double that number. At OER, some of you know, open educational resources are extremely important to keep the cost of our content down. University higher education is playing a very big role in reducing this cost. The country where I come from, India, they have a very large program of OER publishing to bring the cost down so that university students don't spend a fortune in buying textbooks. And there are lots of limitations in traditional OER development. One is faculty don't have time, and their own expertise in pedagogy is often limited. They have strength in domain, but not necessarily in pedagogy. And there's lack of collaboration can be another problem. And this is one reason why we introduced the practice of human in the loop AI, which is used like there are automatic. If you go to San Francisco, they have this company called Waymo, which is full of a fleet of self-driving taxis. And these are all driven with a human loop somewhere. But in 95% of the time, they don't need a human to guide them. But when they're encountering a board where a handwritten signal says, the signboard says that take a left turn, and it's not anywhere in their system, that's where the human being comes in and helps the car take the right kind of turn. So, following that philosophy, we have applied it in education, where the teacher plays the role, and we call it teacher in the loop AI. We are already using that for content generation, formatting, and adaptation. So teachers decide lesson plans, teachers decide what can be published. And this is already under implementation in several countries in the Pacific, among the Pacific Islands, especially Fiji. Samoa are taking a lead in this. This is already a flourishing program. We'll provide more details. And 7 countries are already involved in it. In one example is 40 teachers got together for a 2-day workshop. We are able to come out with close to 500 lesson plans, of which 100 were approved by the mentor peer community. All that was done in a matter of 2 days. You can imagine how much time this would have taken without assistance from AI. Therefore, I want to conclude here saying that you, as UMS, you're not only a leader in sustainable development, you can be a leader in applied AI development as well, and you can be the leader for the whole region of Southeast Asia. And that's something I would be very proud of because such a beautiful city should have a leader in AI as well. And I believe you are very well positioned to do so. The governance and ethical framework, we are ready to give you advice and we are ready to help you build the kind of model, some of which I showed you. So let me stop here and I'm open to taking questions that are subject to permission by the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balaji, for your very insightful presentation. Um, okay, let's see if there's any questions at the chat area. Okay, so I will open the floor for any questions. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. You can also open your mic to ask it, or you can also type at the chat room.
Can I ask the first question?
Okay, yes, please.
Yeah. Hello, Dr. Balaji. I'm Ong. Thank you so much for your wonderful sharing. In UMS here, we have been, COL has been the academic partner, and through Dr. Sanjay Mishra, for the past 6 years, we've been having a lot of support, especially with OER development also. Now AI coming in, I have 2 questions. The first question would be, from the copyright aspect, Dr. Balaji, all the AI generated materials, whether it be text or graphic or videos and so on, what kind of a copyright infringement might be our concern? Or is it immediately a public domain material? That's question number 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Wong. I'm glad, my colleague just met me before this talk and mentioned that he knew many of you, especially you. Thank you for acknowledging our partnership with you. Now, about copyrights, copyright is a big issue, but copyright is shifting very rapidly. There are judgments after judgment coming saying that AI is not a person and therefore AI will not own copyright. That's one. However, the material that a generative AI used may have been copyrighted. That's where companies are suing AI companies, like New York Times sued OpenAI. But finally, the judges, the lawyers agreed that there was really no case, so they arrived at some kind of out-of-court settlement. For us in education, we can, if we used material already in the public domain, like published OER, OER with CC by SA, we really don't have a problem because we are only adapting it. And that is how we have built our systems. So we are completely avoided the copyright issue by working only with repositories containing CC by or CC by SA materials. So does that help you, sir?
Thank you, Dr. Balaji. Yeah. Can I have a second question or pass it to somebody else? Dr. Farah?
Yes, Prof. Wong, please proceed. You can have the second question.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Balaji, you showed just now that there are different approaches to the production of AI policies. So, like for example, in Singapore, it is a very top-down from the government, strong support from the government, and also many examples you showed from the universities. What, from your viewpoint, what is actually the most effective legal approach to developing AI policy? Should it be from, government point, from the Ministry of Higher Education, involving all universities, or like in UMS, we are doing it university-based?
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Professor, in United States, what you find is that there is no national policy because federally there is a nominal Department of Education which has no control over 4,000 universities. No. So what they instead do is they evolve policies and sort of work within networks. Like there are regional associations of universities that check with each other about the viability of policies. And therefore, in other words, it is a peer-driven approach where, government issues broad regulations. Like, for example, if United States government decides that some technologies evolved in US, generative AI, cannot go to country X or Y, the university may have a relationship with that country. Then they are naturally governed by what the federal government has decided. They have no choice. That's one. The other is that as they evolve and they look at ethics and they look at data management procedures and policies, etc., they can evolve a lot of very enlightened policies on their own. Even today, I'm sure, the Department of Higher Education in the federal government in Malaysia would not probably come in the way of UMS evolving its own data quality and data management policies. That is where the process can begin. In other words, Singapore is a small state, so when a government regulates, it's look like a top-heavy, a top-down approach. But small countries, everything appears that way, wherever government is involved in a small country. On the other hand, Malaysia is a bigger country, so there can be a top-down as well as a peer-driven approach where the universities evolve their policies but ensure that these are aligned to broader national concerns. Similarly, national policies can be legislated. For example, a country can simply outlaw any research in any university that weaponizes AI. They say our country doesn't believe it, our nation doesn't believe in it, and nobody, including a university, should not work in it. Well, that becomes so you can work with both. I would say never give up the initiative to start evolving policies at departmental or at sub-university level, at the faculty level. I would say we never give it up because we will not go against national regulations under any circumstance. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balaji, for your very valuable feedback and comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Balaji. Is there any more questions from the floor? Check the chat. Okay, so far there's no more question. Okay, I think we are just right. Dr. Balaji, if would it be okay if there are any more further questions, we would forward it to you, maybe later or through email. Would that be all right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I welcome your queries, and please, I'll be delighted to receive them on email, and I will try my best to answer them as much as deep in detail as I can, and as in a short time as I can. So, Chair, may I take this opportunity to thank you, fellow panelists, and the distinguished audience, and the organizers for giving me this opportunity, for accepting my president's nomination of me as the speaker. And I greatly appreciate the opportunity, and I'm indeed honored for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Balaji, for spending your, I think it's evening in Vancouver, right? Thank you very much for,
It's already very dark, and I've
very
made
dark.
an appeal to Zamri that I will be leaving as soon as this my talk is over, because I have another commitment.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Balaji. All right, so I think we are just in time with our schedule today. We'll go to the next session. Okay, let's move to the second panelist now, which is TS Dr. Fazidah. TS Dr. Fazidah binti Abu Bakar is the Director General of National Digital Department, Ministry of Digital since 12 December 2023 until present. She is responsible of spearheading the digitalization of government services. In addition, she is also the head of Information Technology Officer Service Scheme, and she has extensive experience in ICT development and digitalization of more than 30 years in various government agencies. Prior to her current appointment, she was the Deputy Director General for ICT of Mampu, Prime Minister's Department, where she was the advisor to the head of IT Scheme Service for the aspects of human resource development and management, Chairman and member of the Mampu and Public Service ICT Project Governance Committees, and also the advisor in the implementation of the public sector digitalization project at the national level. TS Dr. Fazidah has also served in various government agencies such as Ministry of Finance, MOF, Intan, and Road Transport Department. Her prior working experiences range from application development, database management, ICT blueprint development, ICT training, ICT policies, guideline development, ICT technical evaluation. And she has been extensively involved in numerous ICT projects related to transportation, trade facilitation, and also initiatives and related to big data analytics, digital transformations, ICT strategic planning, and enterprise architecture. Thank you very much, TS Dr. Fazidah, for joining us today. Before we start, probably is to set up the context. Could you discuss the current strategies and policies in the public sector for AI and how collaborative approaches such as the quadruple helix models are being utilized to ensure ethical governance is being complied. Additionally, can you probably provide examples of how AI is being leveraged for social good in public service delivery? Yes, Dr. Fazidah, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, Dr. Fazidah.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning. And maybe Dr. Balaji, I would say it's good night. Okay. Okay, can we have the slide, please? First of all, I would like to thank you very much for inviting JDN, Jabatan Digital Negara, or in English is National Digital Department, but I will always address this as JDN as we go along for this talk and sharing on AI governance and policy development. Thank you for recognizing and also extending the invitation for this occasion. Thank you, Dr. Farah, on the invitation, on introduction just now. And today I'm going to talk about the AI strategies and direction from the Malaysian public sector perspective. Next, please. As you mentioned earlier from your introduction, that the expectation for we in JDN, I was told that I'll be given on this topic for sharing in terms of AI from the trends and also global collaboration with multiple entities, and also how in terms of the public sector drive an initiative on AI, and also in terms of how we plan out or we strategize for the AI ethics and principle, and also some use cases that we're going to share, and also for what is coming for the future in terms of the public sector. Next. Okay, before I start, this is what I would say that to echo what Dr. Balaji was saying, that with your conducting this sharing from the university itself, and is as you know that university is one of the good sector education, where we will say that is where the knowledge is being prosper, and also being leveraged, and also being escalated, and also the power of knowledge that we can get innovation, and also potential of any new direction or new policy, or also on all this knowledge, the power that we have from universities. And what we are saying that from the intelligence that we have, there is no artificial intelligence without human intelligence. That is, we have to put our mindset across, that we are not saying that the artificial intelligence is going to drive without any of the human intelligence that we created as much as possible at the first place. Yeah. Okay, that is the first one. There is no artificial intelligence without human intelligence. Okay, next. Okay, AI in a glance, in terms of in Malaysian government context, I think we are privileged, that we are glad that our Prime Minister, we have the support from him, and in terms of how the importance of AI to go forward in the country. So you see that, of course, you know that his name also AI, Anwar Ibrahim, and he from recent session that his visit in Lima, Peru, he says that if we want to ensure that an emerging tech economy succeeds, remains competitive and sustainable, then it has to be to a quantum leap. And this opportunity that AI is one of the emerging technology that we see the potential to ensure for economic growth, and also citizens prosperous. Yeah. Our Ministry of or Minister of Digital, Mr. Gobin, yeah, also plays an importance on AI, and this he quoted that the AI will impact all sectors from health to agriculture and education. What is equally important is to encourage new thinking. This is a new mindset, and is a new paradigm shift that we need to embark, to embrace, to ensure that the thinking of AI can also materialize, and we can take the opportunity for the technology that have that we can prosper for our country. Next. Okay, before I proceed further in terms of for the public sector AI landscape, I would like to show to you from the screen that is overall there's a global index, or global performance measurement, government AI readiness index, and 2024, and when you see that there are about three indicators are used to address on determine for the AI readiness index. It is in the aspects of government, technology, data, and infrastructure. And we in terms of where we are, I mean the ranking, we are slightly dropped one place, But if you see in terms of the index, the index score, they are increasing. So here that we see that is from the AI development in Malaysia is progressing, and what we need to do is that we have to study where that areas that we need to further improve or in terms of to pay attention to in the AI readiness index. From here, from the aspects of governance and ethics, that is something that we have in terms of the national AI. We have already embarked, and I will tell you further what is the status that we can see the progress on AI overall, and some of the areas that we see here, we see that let's see, we are lagging on technology, and also in terms of adoption. This is some areas that we need to further explore, and the technology-wise, what we can see is that it will depend on the supply and demand. The demand is in terms of the services, the government or the public services. What are the demand for AI related to embed in the services, and also in terms of that, what is the technology that we requires, so from the industry to prosper, and the knowledge to ensure that the technology that we can use from the perspective AI is well efficient or well benefited to the service and to the citizens. So next. Next, please. Okay, all right. Okay, just to add on it, why you see from the past last year, there's many of the investors coming, especially on the data centers, and partly is to ensure that in the aspects of infrastructure, we are AI enabled, ready to in terms of the technology to provide to support the services that we can embed the AI aspect. So that is one of the reason why you, from previous slide, you see that the infrastructure, the reason that we can see that is low due to the readiness of our data centers that to support the AI adoption. So, but all in all, when you see that most of now the focus of that we have done in terms of AI at the national level is focusing on the policies, on the aspects of governance. That when we talk about AI, currently we have 3 main policies and guidelines for the country. One is that's being stated in National Fourth IR policy. Second is on also being monitored in Malaysian Digital Economic Blueprint, and we also have the roadmap, AI roadmap, that to guide for the implementation of AI at the national level. These policies are that have outlined the direction, strategies, targets to implement the AI for the national level. Next. So what do we have in the AI roadmap? There are 6 strategies that we have in the AI roadmap, and when they come up with the roadmap, these are being being a collaborative effort with the industry, with the universities, and also government and the businesses to come up with these roadmaps. So we have 6. What we see is that at this juncture, we have one is in terms of how we establish the AI governance. Second is on how we address in terms R&D, and third is on how we escalate digital infrastructure. Fourth is on fostering the talent, the aspect of talents, and 5 is on how we ensure on the acculturation, the adoption, to make sure that people are aware and also potential adopting the AI. And of course, when you're saying that when we have it, the potential innovation that we can get from the AI initiative. So what we have done from this, what is status of these strategies? Next. Next, please. Previous slide, please. Okay, so the next one. Number 8. Are we there in the 8 slide?
I'm seeing number 8.
Okay, all right,
okay.
Now, yeah. Okay, now, so some of the achievement that we have get from the implementation or from the roadmap. One is in terms of establishing AI governance, there has been governance structure that have to monitor the implementation of the roadmap, and they call it National Blockchain and AI Committee. So that is being chaired by the minister, and recently, last September, I have at the national level, they have a launch of National AI Governance and Ethics, and I'm sure that one you can refer to MOSTI, the information on about this one. And from Ministry of Digital, last December, we have already established a National AI Office. So these are all the establishment for governance, so that for future we can spearhead and kick off for a more coordinated way in terms of AI implementation. Number 2 is on advancing AI R&D. I'm sure from the academician point of view, from the universities also have heard about that the allocation for budget to kickstart the R&D, and that for AI faculty at UTM to allocate for 20 millions in for setting up the AI faculty. Third is on the AI talent, of course, from the establishment of the faculty. Okay, excuse us.
Minta alihkan kenderaan anda dengan keadaan segera kerana jualan kursus wanita akan diadakan pada hari ini. Ulang suara.
Okay, I'm sorry of this commercial break.
No problem. Seems like somebody is blocking someone's car. So yeah.
We have a Puspanita sale downstairs.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Sorry, okay. We're back to our slide now. So in terms of talent, I'm sure the UTM from the AI faculty, and I'm sure all other service training centers, public, private, including UMS, I'm sure is also embarking on the AI training, so that everybody is aware and also have developed the talent on AI. And also this is also being given very much high emphasis by our Prime Minister, and because it was announced during his notes, his keynote on the meeting with the public officer, public servants, public government officers last August, if I'm not mistaken, that AI also one of the 7 focus areas in the public sectors. And then the national innovation ecosystem, they have a consortium have been established to promote the national AI innovation ecosystem, and also on in terms of attracting AI, My Digital Corporation have also the portal. If the participant, if you can go to the My Digital Corporation portal, there's an AI for Rakyat program that to promote awareness for training and certification for the citizens and public sectors. And with the association with the coming up with investors, there also a place for AI sandbox. They have working collaboration with Meranti and NVIDIA, investment from the cloud providers that I mentioned earlier for AI capabilities, for that the data center promote the AI capable to help support for the implementation of AI. Next. So next is about from the perspective of public sector, and why you were saying that why we need AI for the public sectors. Having said that, earlier, as our Prime Minister was saying that AI also is one of the key things that the public sector needs to drive, and also to promote the usage or the tools into the service delivery. So these are the potential that why the AI is also potential emerging technology that benefit for the public sector. One is in terms of the improvement of service delivery, and you'll see that some of the example also similarly that have been shared by Dr. Balaji just now, in terms of how you can get the personalized services. You can also get some aspect of customized feedbacks and process automation. Number 2 is on enhancing of decision making accuracy. This is of course it will help better decision making with the analytics and automating the auto detect the fraud or prevention. And these are the way we see that the importance of having a good data driven management and also policy making for decision making. So number 3 is optimizing of resources. Of course, when you have a smart infrastructure, it means that we can proactively in terms of maintenance, we can have a better alerts or a better decision on how we can optimize the infrastructure resources allocation, and also in terms of good and timely predictive maintenance. Number 4 is public sector safety management. How we can ensure promoting, establishing the safety of rakyat, and and prevention and predicting. 5 is promoting transparency and accountability on open data. We have also some how to manage on the data in terms of what is or in open data, what is on the restricted data, and here whereby the AI can also help in terms of how to promote transparency and accountability. And here is very much that being being discussed earlier on elements of ethical, and also in terms of how we govern the data usage, so that there's no in terms of the protecting the data, your personal data, and also the data being a good value for AI implementation. Next. Next, please. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, still we are still in the public sector landscape, and what I can share to you is that when we see that AI development is not new. AI development we have foreseen way back early in 2020 when we come up with our strategic digital for public sector, our plan for digitalization, and these are also we have already outlined in the plan. And recently, last year, we introduced a strategy ensure that everybody gauge the importance of digital first, the mindset, so that we can embrace other emerging technology as well, including AI. So that is one of the these two plans are also have emphasized on the implementation of AI at the public sector level. Next. So just to share a bit detail on what is in the public sector digitalization strategic plan. This is is at one of the strategic trusts, is in the strategic trust 7, adapting to relevant emerging technologies. So we mentioned here is that the importance of having to embrace all the potential emerging technologies, and one of it is AI, and now we are one of the things that we are in the pipeline is establishing or developing the guidelines. I will share it later. Next. And digital first. This one we introduced is to give awareness to all the government officers and also to everybody that the importance of think digital, whereby we need to ensure that the service delivery, we have to prioritize that there will be also other digital channels that we can also explore to ensure the value of other service delivery channel also as well. And Another thing is integrating digital technology into the service design, and one of it is AI in this context, and also to look into the process that it can transform digital government service delivery, focusing based on the government experience, and also in integrated whole of government approach. So this you can also download from our portal, www.jdn.gov.my. And one of the trusts that we mentioned here is on the second one is data driven, because we know in order to implement AI, data aspect is very important. Data management and how we govern the data is very important. Then to ensure the AI is of good quality and also reliable to promote digital trust among our customers. Next. Okay. I'm going into specifically to AI ethics and principle for public sector, because this slide shows the reason why we need to incorporate and adopt AI ethics and principles for public sector. One is the most important is to ensure the use of AI that is efficient, safe, responsible, and ethical, by virtue that eventually it will also contribute to the better quality of public service delivery. So all these seven points are the things that we need to consider to for the AI ethics and principles for public sector. One is to ensure the ethical use of AI. Number two, for the enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of AI technology. Number three is to align and standardize of AI adoption. Number four, to foster innovation. So we were saying now there are three things that the focus of our this sharing. One is on ethics, yeah, on innovation, and also in terms inclusion. So number five, ensure compliance with existing laws. Yeah, we have also need to consider other laws, policies, and guidelines to complement the implementation of AI. Number 6 and 7 is actually to promote digital trust or public trust, as well as from the industry confidence. Number six is increasing public confidence in government in terms of adoption. Number 7 is how to enhance industry partners' confidence in government AI initiative, so that it can also give in terms of the supply for technologies on AI to support the public service delivery. Next. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, JDN with collaboration with MDEC has developed the Malaysian Public Sector AI Adoption Guideline, which is now at the stage of getting the approval from the top management. And we hope that soon, by end of February, we can launch this. And this guideline, we incorporated 7 AI ethics and principles as the guideline for the public sector agencies to adopt. We also embed the description of the introduction of AI in this guideline. AI actors, AI risk management, and requirement for public sector agencies to adopt AI. This will be a guide for the public sector, and when we launch it, I hope that you can also refer it as well. you can use it for university to develop or establish your own policies or principles for UMS. Okay, so there are 7 principles, and just from the slide, one is the focus on the data privacy and security, where we have to make sure that all the public sector AI system, any system that we have embedded AI, enable technologies inside in the automation, prioritize the privacy and security of the data. We have to, in the back of our mind, these principles must be adhered, protecting it from unauthorized access, breaches, and misuse. So data handling must be complied with current privacy law, safeguarding personal. So these are some of the things that we have to know based on the other existing laws in terms of privacy and protection that now currently enforced. So that is one of the principle. Number 2 is transparency. Transparency is involved that making the AI processes and decision understandable to the stakeholder, so that it will, in terms of clear, accessible information and how decision make, we have to we have to tell, we have to disclose it, so that the rationale, so that the output in respect to the regulation currently enforced. So this is one of the things that also we need to adhere. Number 3 is accountability, to ensure that that clearly defined responsibility of the deployment, and also in terms of the potential ethical implication of the use, and also mechanism that we place to address any negative impacts or any feedbacks or any issues arise or unintended consequences that may arise. So this we have to make sure that we are accountable for any of these outcomes. Yeah. Number 4 is fairness, meaning to say that in the public sector, it must develop and use that is fair and free from bias, in ensuring equitable treatment for all communities, so that in the aspect of inclusivity and the one that requires evaluation to mitigate bias in data algorithm also need to address. Then from this principle, we can be as a guide. Next. The other 3 is inclusiveness, that accommodate all diverse population, and then it will also equal access and ensure the services usable by all. Number 6 is reliability and robustness. In terms on this, the system must perform consistently and resilient against cyber threat. I'm sure most of the system also we have to, whether it's an AI system or is purely conventional or any system for that matter, aspect of reliability and robustness must be in place. Number 7 is sustainability. Sustainability promotes the responsible use of AI to support long-term. This is also because it's one of the agenda from the UN Sustainability Development Goals, and we need to have this one of the principle to contribute, especially for future generations. So that these are the 7 that actually I'm sharing it earlier. We are going to launch it next month, and then this audience, you all have this privilege, have seen it in advance. Okay, next. Okay. Earlier, Dr. Balaji was saying that they was sharing a few of the reference from the international that have frameworks and all got guidelines and all these like established. So we in fact we are based from when we develop this guideline, we also refer to this established international frameworks that have already established. So these are the comparison that to you, and just I want to address. I want to share to you the difference. There's the National Artificial Intelligence Governance and Ethic. That one is that we currently have just launched it last September, and there's a note there that the difference with the one that we are going to launch is in the national level. They specify one of the principle is pursuit of human benefits and happiness. For their seventh principle in at the national level, that is one the slight different, but for for our on the public sector, we include sustainability, but in national AI governance, it does not include sustainability. That is the one that difference. But all in all, others are just similar with the at the national level. The difference is that we include sustainability for public sector. Next. Okay, moving along. These are some of the example that we share on AI for social goods potential. When we talk about social goods in terms of administration, when there is potential that AI can automate the routines such as document processing, data management, and also big data analysis that can help for more accurate and faster decision. And now one of the thing that example is an AI in the public sector human resource. Resource, that's the typo there. Resource management system in healthcare, in terms of medical diagnosis and public health monitoring. But in currently in MOH ophthalmology department, they have embed an AI to diagnose patient eyes related issues. Education, the potential of personalized learning. You can tailor it based on individual needs, and also how automate or put to performance analysis. And one of the example that is in Delima, Digital Educational Learning Initiative by MOE. Agriculture, smart farming using the AI or IoT for chili plant management that is currently we have in at Kuala Langat. Okay, next. Previous slide, please. Okay, there's another few more. Disaster management using AI for flood detection and safety and surveillance for CCTV. Some of the PBTs have used it for areas that have a crime hotspot crime areas. Complaint management, using it for based on the sentiment analysis to gauge citizen perception, and for financial management is on detecting the fraud, any fraud activities to have better transparent and in terms of handling the unauthorized transaction in the government financial management. Okay, these are some of the examples, and I'm sure for the years to come, I will be more as we gauge more knowledge and also technology and insight, understanding on AI, that the capability of AI technology into our processes for the service delivery. Next, please. So some our a bit sharing related to JDN from currently that what we have now is that we are still some of it in the smaller scale, because we for the last year we are focusing more on how to build up the guideline and governance structure committee, and now there's also several proof of concept ongoing, and some have already finished or as completed. Currently, we are about to deploy the using generative AI application. We have a chatbot AI at JDN. That one, if you see from in our portal, they have one, this chatbot, and that proof of concept we are closing in on using the Gen AI, and Suara is some sentiment analysis that we built agent to scrape from the news and also from the online media for insight, to help us to get the insight from what's going on in the from the social media. The second one is on the AI application. We are this one under development currently for platform AI as a service, and we have also super app is also ongoing, and we also embed the intelligence search for the portal My Government. This is hope by first half of the year. We are expecting by May we can launch something about this initiative. And this one, public sector AI adoption, the one that I've been sharing you, the principles and what are inside the guidelines, that is that will be launched next month. Of course, a continuous awareness, collaboration, and also consultation with the public sectors ongoing, and this is going to be from last year and take off continuously for this year for continuing enhanced capabilities. Next. Okay, these are the example of the AI for social goods that that we have some potential use cases, and actually this one is already being implemented, yeah, and it's a federal transport authority that have used for managing the road traffic violation, and they use the 360 mobile cameras, and the impact is to from there they can monitor the activities and reduce the likelihood of unauthorized crossing, and also in terms of making sure operational power and effectiveness of the surveillance system contributes for better management of road. Yeah. Okay. Next. Another one is on AI to authenticate student profile pictures as part of the university admission process. Okay. This one, the university implement an AI-based photo validation using open AI tools to help students upload suitable pictures for enrollment. And I'm sure your communication with other universities have also some similar solution, or might be other solution related to AI to enhance your processes in the universities. Okay, next. Okay, this is AI chatbot to help citizens access public service. So a state government aim to improve public service delivery and bridge the gap from citizens and the state administration. And this is one example that using chatbot, and this is how promote more interactive communication with people to access their services. And I guess this is widely used. Some industries also have this chatbot in order communication with their client and their customers. And this is also can also be leveraged, or also can be used in the university environment. Okay, next. So this is going to be one of the last topic that I'm going to share with you. In terms of what is next, what is in store, way forward for AI public sector. First, we need to focus on scaling AI implementation. Meaning to say, when AI provides efficient benefit when we use at scale. We are not to say that we are using in a big scale, but we use in smaller, that manageable, that we can address and make sure that it's being impactful. So we start incrementally, and then that then we can scale out later. Number two is recognizing new value addition, because when you see that the AI strategies is dynamic, we cannot assume that the technology it doesn't change, but it's changed rapidly. And here we have to see what kind of the technology that in terms of AI that have benefits that can improve the employee or the customer experience. And we need to be agile on the way we address this implementation of AI. Number three is adopting responsible AI principle. Yeah, this, when addressing using AI, we must not forget that dealing with this, we must have responsible. We must be accountable. We must use it with ethics, and aspect of security, compliance, and governance must be in place, and also must be aware by everybody when adopting AI for service delivery. Okay, next. So what we this is my last slide, yeah, and what we can my second last, yeah, what we can do, just some guide that we can from the university can also refer to First, when we want to do any AI initiative, we identify the problem statements and we see what is the problems and also whether it's suitable for AI solution. That's the feasibility studies that we can conduct so that we can identify what are the projects that give a good impact. Yeah. Number two is enhancing AI skill and knowledge. This is, of course, when we're talking about technology, is continuously need to be enhance the skill. Yeah? So the continuous training competency need to be there, and collaboration as well for upskilling and and reskilling. In the aspect of building AI infrastructure and technology, these are the investment and technology infrastructure that from the government, they have make sure that the data center from using the cloud that also support the AI capabilities, and also the platform also on the software and the hardware also, and the tools also support for the platform or services that we want to write on. Now, four is a governance and ethical framework now in the public sector. So when we provide this guideline, we hope that moving forward, further engagement with the government agencies and users in terms of promoting the adoption of the ethics, yeah, and governance framework that being established in the guideline. Number five is collaboration and knowledge sharing. This is meaning to say is engagement and knowledge sharing, similar like what we have for this session, knowledge sharing and collaboration with industry, academia and community for any projects, yeah, and also it's a good opportunity to seek opportunity for international participation. Next. So these are the recommendation for public sector AI adoption. One is to enhance value by prioritizing the human-centric approach, meaning to say, remember the first slide that I mentioned earlier, that there is no AI, no, there's no artificial intelligence, yeah, without human intelligence. So this is human must be intelligence first to promote for the AI thinking. Yeah, so we need to have the skill. We need to know the system. We need to the process. We have to have the competency to potential augment and automate for the process. Number two is enrich the practical use. Yeah, because in order when we know the value, but we have to adopt, yeah, the use, so that we continuously use, then we know we explore further for advanced ideas, innovation to unlock for greater value for any public sector public service use cases. Number three, we have to have the trust, to build the trust, to emphasize on aspect on risk management in terms of security, in terms of ethics, yeah, in terms of safety and responsible use of AI technologies. Of course, we cannot remain stagnant. We have to continuously review and refine our strategy so that we can see what is the best way, and based on the technological development and the trends, and identify future innovation and for better effective AI implementation. Okay, next. So I think that is all, guys. This is it. To close, I thank you for all your attention. on my sharing, my from the perspective of public sector. Just to recap a little bit, basically what I've introduced is to inform you that there will be a guideline for adoption of AI in the public sector, and this one there will be inside there will be what is AI, the risks, the actors, the principles, the governance, and this will be also have the everybody, including from UMS, also can have a look on that when we make it available. And what I'm saying that from my conclusion is that AI is not just about technology. It's about reinventing the way we serve people and improve society. That is the very pertinent focal thing that we need to have in mind, that it's not about technology, it's about how we serve people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Fazidah, for your invaluable sharing and presentation. Okay, I open Q&A to the floor. If there's any question, let me check the chat. Yeah, okay. Maybe just to maybe discuss with Dr. Fazidah, because it was being mentioned by Dr. Balaji about the importance of data management, and also I think just now Dr. Fazidah also shared on the importance of data quality, data driven. Before we go into AI, our data must be managed and so on. Maybe Dr. Fazidah can share the challenges, especially in public sector itself, when we talk about data sharing and also knowledge sharing, among agencies. So it will probably be the same of us, and maybe how we can address these challenges.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we foresee that when to embark on AI, or for that matter to eventually to improve our service delivery as a whole of government principle, approach that requires across agencies sharing, and data is very important. That is why just to inform you that in fact last year we do it concurrently on drafting the data sharing, public sector data sharing act, and alhamdulillah it has been tabled and also approved by Parliament last day of the Parliament session last year, sometimes the December, and is already approved on data sharing act for the public sector. So that is one of the thing that that will further as a catalyst to facilitate the agencies to share. Of course, there also inside there some later when if you look at when we for the ACTA, for the act, how we guide in terms of data sharing, that in terms of the data from the agency that request, and that and how the agency that giving sharing the data, there also some guide then and how those things need to be protected. So there are in that one of the element in the data sharing act is that every agencies have to make sure that their data is the accountability, their data is safe, their data is also they know that is what is sensitive data, what is data that can be shared according to their respective act. So that is one way, and another one is that because of now is you can go, it's inevitable. We have to share data to ensure that the service delivery is not being in siloed, yeah, and a directive from our top leaders in terms of sharing data also plays a role. That is like a buy-in, yeah, from the top leaders. So these are things that will facilitate, and the quality of data, how to govern in terms of ensuring accuracy. Also, we have guideline for sharing, how to share in the cloud, what are data, the quality of data is also from Chief Government Office, Security Office. So all these are the guidelines that also facilitate and also ensure to help in terms of protect, and also in a way also help us to gain trust to the public. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fazidah. So there's one more question at the chat board area. It's from, I think, Dr. Suraya. Dr. Suraya, you want to read this or should I read it?
Assalamualaikum Dr. Fazidah.
Salam.
Suraya sini.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to ask, because as we know kan, there are many AI tools and there are many technology that can be adopted in public sector and university. However, I want to shift to the AI talent. So how does JDN plan in securing the talent itself to avoid misuse of the technology, such as developing unreliable agent that is automatically doing all the related tasks, any related to academic and also the public sector?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I think we have plans for that in terms of we have the guide now, right? Moving forward, developing the AI talents, yeah, AI talents from our collaboration with JPA, yeah, on identifying all the talents, yeah, with collaboration with industry. So that is also we continuously, and you were saying that how we get, because there are so many solution, yeah, ataupun teknologi AI, and how we make sure that it's reliable or not, yeah. In terms of managing this, that we currently we are also in continuously developing our knowledge, right? So we can't say that this is not reliable or not reliable, because this is evolving. But this one requires collaborative effort, as we can say later on, what are the technology that reliable, or what kind of the standards. We are still exploring it, and we are really JDN really welcomes on this collaboration with all the universities and also industries. Because you know the AI is very new, everybody is jump into this industry and promote their things. I mean their solution is well. But one thing for sure is in terms of data reliability, we are currently exploring the LLM for promoting the government data. That one that is local to the government, internal, so that we are not over relying on the international, and also it's also because of the language and what we perceive the culture, based on the culture. Some culture perceive it okay, but to us maybe is something that is very offensive, that kind of thing. But still a long way to go, but we are moving towards building the local LLM. And this is one is why we need that national AI office, so that they can govern it at the national level. So that they're just being established, and I'm sure this year they're going to be they really have to work hard on it to to make sure that all this initiative, all this AI are being addressed and put some trust or the reliability in place. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fazidah. Maybe one more last question we have from Associate Professor Dr. Sadan Gerald Marshall. Would you like to open your mic and yeah?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr.
Yeah, Prof.
Fazidah. Yeah. Apart from pembangunan, jalan raya and bangunan besar projek-projek kita, one of the problems is every time IT kah, AI kah, ada peluang untuk orang untuk masuk dan cipta ini AI chatbot kah apa-apa, separuh masak dan serahkan saja pada kerajaan. Pakai itu, suka tak suka you pakai saja. So what is safeguard for abusing? Sekarang mereka akan bergerak pantas tau. Mereka akan nampak lubuk dan mereka akan bergerak pantas untuk membuat projek-projek yang kononnya memanfaatkan universiti dan lain-lain tempat, and then we'll have the same problem lah, like internet and paperless lah kononnya, and it becomes a semi-automatic software like we have in our university, some of our softwares lah. So mungkin Dr. boleh kongsi ataupun ini memberitahu kami.
Okay, alright. So I'm trying to understand what your main concern is. Is it meaning to say how we govern this, right? Abuse, yeah, because of this.
Yes. Abuse of the contract system for awarding AI, contracts by government.
All right. So this one, I'm telling because Jabatan Digital Negara (JDN) is now being MOF is have been acknowledged Jabatan Digital Negara as Jabatan Teknik Digital Teknik Department. Similar like you were saying, like JKR with the with the bangunan and all that, right? So now is for digitalization, Jabatan Negara has been acknowledged, as a key referral dulu. Refer to Jabatan Digital Negara in terms of the procurement. So that one we have already mentioned previously also in terms of project, ICT project, including the AI related, that any procurement must seek technical approval in Jabatan Digital Negara, in JDN, via the respective ministries. Meaning ministry have to send the proposal and all that. That is one way that we manage it. And we in that we have put our technical views, what should done or need to be done or what not. So that is in terms of governance that we have. And in fact, after that, in terms of when they carry out their procurement, also we welcome the agencies or any to seek our advice on how to go about, or what technical any technical issues that you need some clearance. That is the in terms of the governance that we have right now. Okay.
Can the end user complain directly to Jabatan Digital?
Excuse me?
Can the end user complain directly to Jabatan Digital? Is there a saluran Kilana?
Oh, the end user. You can through Portal. We have a Portal has a feedback also. You can also address there, and then the webmaster can highlight and alert. Yeah. I mean, of course, I think other agency at the ministry also have that kind of channel to address some feedbacks or any things for that matter lah.
Ministry of Education, they will kick back to the university. They won't solve it at the ministry level. So hopefully, Jabatan Digital can, Negara can be additional saluran.
I know, because many universities are huge. Many universities. I think maybe the ministry also. But that's how, I mean, we're welcome on. In fact, any knowledge sharing and also some ideas also we welcome very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sanan. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Fazidah.
Thank you
again for your invaluable sharing and presentation. Okay, I think we need to rush to the next panelist, okay, which is our very own Professor Dr. Rayner Alfred. Okay, let me just introduce a little bit about Professor Dr. Rayner. Professor T.S. Dr. Rayner Alfred is a leading professor of computer science and a key figure in artificial intelligence and machine intelligence. So he is the director of Creative Advanced Machine Intelligence Research Center, or CAMI, at University Malaysia Sabah, and has over 25 years of experience. He holds a bachelor's degree from the Polytechnic University of Brooklyn, a master's from Western Michigan University from the United States of America, and a PhD from the University of York, United Kingdom. His research focuses on AI, data science, and machine learning. He has secured more than 55 research grants worth around 4.37 million ringgit Malaysia, contributing to smart farming, biometrics, healthcare, and environmental sustainability. Professor Rayner Alfred has authored over 178 publications and received numerous awards. He also works with local communities and industries to apply AI technologies, enhancing productivity and sustainability. His international work includes collaboration in China, South Korea, and Japan. So just now, Professor Rayner informed me that this was actually produced AI generated from Copilot, of course, verified verified from his side. Okay, so Professor Rayner, before you start your presentation for your session, maybe you can share and elaborate on the ethical considerations in AI, particularly for focusing on fairness, bias mitigation, and inclusivity, and how can we ensure transparency and explainability in AI models, and who should be held accountable. This is always the the biggest thing discussed, who should be held accountable for AI decisions and outcome, and additionally what measures should be taken to safeguard data privacy and security in AI application. So we invite you, Professor Dr. Rayner Alfred, to share your valuable insights.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Farah, for the great introduction. Actually, I asked Copilot to describe about myself. So I said, can you create a simplified biography for Rayner Alfred? So that's what I get. So basically, the Copilot get all the information from the web and summarize the content for us, but do not trust them 100%. Okay, so before I proceed, can you see the slide?
Yes, Prof.
Yes. Okay. So thank you for the organizer for inviting me to share my thoughts on AI governance and policy development. So this is away from my research, but I try to map it in the context of fairness, inclusiveness, and also accountability, and many more. There are 7 pillars mentioned by Dr. Fazidah.
Prof, I think you were accidentally muted just now. Wait.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
all right. No, that's fine.
So I continue from the crucial roles of national AI policy. So this is very important. And we look at the national guideline on AI governance based on the Malaysia aspect. And on top of that, we try to map to the critical stages for developing AI solution, because we want to look at what happened inside. And once we look into that, then we look into dilemmas and challenges in deploying AI-based solution. So I will also go through some of the bias and fairness issue, and also misuse and abuse of AI technologies. These are the actual example that I extracted from the
Prof, I think you are muted again.
okay.
Okay, now it's fine.
Yeah. So I guess Dr. Fazidah and Dr. Balaji have mentioned a lot about the AI governance and policy development. So so when we talk about AI is basically looking into a systematic study on how we create machine to think like human being. So like Dr. Fazidah mentioned just now, the artificial intelligence is created, or any solution based on AI is created based on human being. So what we study in AI is look into how do we imitate human being intelligence, for example, reasoning, how do we perceive the vision that we get, how do we express our opinion through the natural language processing, and many more. Okay. So based on this definition, we will look into some of the research that we have done, just to share with you what kind of project that we can go into. Okay. So the first one is looking at the smart agriculture, in which we work with farmer. So in here, we look at how do we predict the supply and demand. So this one we have done with pharma for 2 years, no, for 4 to 5 years, looking into data collection from the 13 states, and then we are looking at how do we forecast the supply and demand. So this is just to look how do we accommodate the demand based on the supply that we get in the 5 years time. Okay, so these are some of the video that we have. Okay, so I will stop there. The video is around 4 to 5 minutes explaining why it is important to forecast the supply and demand for agro-food. We also have done some work on the carbon stock estimation, in which we look at the Sabah tropical rainforest. So based on the images, hyperspectral images, we look into how much carbon that we can estimate from the Sabah forest. Okay. And we also look into smart farming, in which we try to estimate the weight of the cattle, because what we want to do is we want to adjust the feeding program so that the cattle can have good feeding program and can maximize the profit. See, if you look at the video here, we try to weight the cattle. So we try to weight the cattle. So every time we weight the cattle, we will take photo and then we will estimate the weight of the cattle so that we can adjust the feeding program. This is to maximize the weight gain of the cattle, and we're not wasting the food or the baja lah. Okay. So we from there we also build a deep learning framework in which we can predict the health of the cattle based on the movement, based on the weight of the cattle. So this one we did a proof of concept in Lahad Datu, Hafiz Farm. Okay. For the paddy production, we also look into how do we actually look at the health of the paddy land. So we use the hyperspectral images, and then we look at certain area that need more attention in terms of putting more baja or looking into the soil in order to improve the productivity of the paddy. Okay. And we also have some project with Cybersecurity Malaysia, in which we are looking into the biometrics. So these are the sample of program that we have. So we have proposed the multi-phase recognition using deep learning. So we are able to detect. But one thing about one problem with this one is that when we tested on dark-skinned people, the algorithm cannot detect. So, which means that we train the model using biased data. Okay, so everybody can train a model, but it depends on the data that you have. But when it comes to the actual deployment of the system itself, it will fail if you do not have enough data to train them, especially the dark-skinned people for face recognition. Okay. We also work on healthcare. This one we are trying to visualize the structure of the protein based on the information that we have in the database. This one we look at how do we estimate the stock carbon within the 5 or 10 years based on the data that we have. So this is very important to look at what are the changes of carbon stock in the next 5 to 10 years, depending on the time that we have. Okay. For the blue economy, in which we are focusing on the sea product, we look at how do we design a tank to ship live fish from Kota Kinabalu to China, because almost 20% of the fish die when they reach China. So our task is how do we stabilize the water and oxygen quality in the tank so that less loss can be managed when we ship the fish to China. So this one we work with the logistic and forwarding company entity in Sabah. We also work with a hospital. This is in Tuaran, one of the districts in Sabah. So what we wanted to do is we want to deploy the AI application in terms of embedding text to speech and also handwritten recognition and also face recognition in the daily operation of the hospital. But before that, we need to digitize all the data. So this one we work with BIM Miaga and also the one of the company from Singapore. This is one of our colleague work, Dr. Chin Kimon, working on how to detect orangutan nest because we want to count how many left in Sabah. So this is very important because it's very hard for us to go down to the field and then really find the habitat of the orangutan. This is the work of Prof. Jason, looking into how do we recognize the emotion for someone who is playing games or looking into the VR virtual reality environment. So some other mini projects. So this is some of the project that we look into. So we look into healthcare in which we design a deep learning approach for skin detection, skin disease detection, breast cancer prediction, and also the cardiovascular image classification. We also look at the smart document management in which we can classify text and image document, and also we can detect fake news. And finally, we can analyze the sentiment of the social media for Malay language because not many tools out there that can be used for Malay language. And the rest is we are looking into the stock market prediction for Malaysia only, facial emotion recognition for students who coming into our class. They always looks confused. And this one is smart traffic sign recognition by one of the student. And then finally in smart agriculture, looking into the smart citrus leaf disease detection and also the fresh agro-food commodity consumption per capita. So these are some of the project, but most people know about AI, but they don't know actually what's happening, how to start deploying the AI. So when we look at the AI governance and policy development, we should understand what happened, what actually happened in the process of deploying the AI so that we can control or manage some of the issues that addressed by Dr. Fazidah and Dr. Balaji just now. Okay. So when we look at the government AI readiness index for Asian countries, we look at here, Malaysia is not here, but you look at China, India, and Singapore. So they are way up there, 80% and above. So they are into deployed AI or exploring AI. So in Malaysia, we are not ready yet because we have so many concerns. For example, we are looking into technology. We are talking about skills, people with skills. We are looking at the funding and most importantly, the AI policy on governance. So if we focus on the Southeast Asia AI readiness, this one is in 2023. Malaysia is second. First one is Singapore. So if I may point out here, so the AI readiness here, one of them is AI governance. How do we manage and support the AI deployment here? So the other one is AI talent. So it was mentioned by Dr. Fazidah that one of the policy that we need to look into is we need to look at the development of workforce for AI. We also look into the data infrastructure and also the machine learning infrastructure and data readiness. Dr. Fazidah mentioned about the security and the privacy of the data, and also the business value. This is the profit, the return of investment or return of value that we get from investing into AI project. So if you look at the governance AI readiness factor in Asian, they look at this is the main concern here. So we are looking into the regulation as well, and how do we manage the data and the talent and also the infra development. Okay. So this is less mentioned in the policy of the national AI governance and policy. They focus more on the regulation, the data management, how secure they are, and then the talent development and also the infra. So why this national AI policy and framework is very important? The first one is for regulatory framework. Okay, so this one ensure AI system are developed and used responsibly. So this include addressing issue like data privacy, security, and ethical consideration. So you can have access to the national guideline of AI governance and ethics, in which they outline some of the initiative and program for the regulatory framework. They also outline the ethical guideline, how to prevent misuse of AI and ensure fairness, transparency, and accountability. So I will share also some of the example of misuse of AI and also some of the fair and bias issue that we need to look into. And of course, we are also looking at the funding and investment. Without the funding and investment, we cannot do AI project. So recently, the announced by our Prime Minister that the Malaysia AI investment in budget 2025, we have around 600 million. 600 million. So it's up for us to put up a proposal. And also, we recently they launched the National AI Office to look into the collaboration between government, industry, and academia. So these are some of the initiatives that done by the Malaysia, and of course the development of AI talent. So we have these national strategies that include initiative to educate and train the workforce in AI related skills. So they have allocated around 50 million. Okay. So that's why we have this national AI policy and framework. They are very important. But when we zoom into the deployment of the AI, so this is the framework extracted from the National Guideline on AI Governance and Ethics. So if you look at the first part here, collect and process data. So this is the most expensive part in which we want to collect and process the data, pre-process the data so that there is no bias. And also it includes data from all sector, all stakeholder. And once we get the data, then we build the machine, we train them. Okay? So we train them based on the data that we have. So since we are the one who build the model and we are the one who collect the data, so it's our responsibility to have a non-bias or a fair system to be used. And these are used in order to look at how do we validate the model, how do we ensure that the rules applied by the rules are correct. So we have validation and assessment, we have impact assessment. So all this will goes to this ethical pillar. So we have the 7 pillar, accountability, transparency, inclusiveness, privacy and security, safety and control, and also fairness. And last one is pursuit of human benefit and happiness. And lastly is this is the one who will be using the system. So I would like to focus on the red box here, because that is where we as the developer, we have big responsibility here. Okay, so this is the step to create an AI application. So the first thing that we need to look into is what is the problem that we want to solve. So when we want to look at the problem, so normally we go to the industry, we go to the community, and we look at what are the problems that they want to solve, and then based on our knowledge, we can propose solution for them. So the first one is we look into how do we accommodate the human benefits and happiness by looking into the problem, and also how do we solve the problem. Once we get the problem to be solved, then we have the idea how to solve them. Then we need to get some data. But in preparing the data, we need to have all stakeholders. So this one emphasize on inclusiveness. We need to get the data from all stakeholders, and it must be complete. You cannot have imbalanced data. For example, if you collect demography for certain area, you cannot have like 80% men and 20% women, because that is imbalanced data. Or if you are in Europe, you are collecting data, most of them, majority of them, not including the color skin people. So that is bias already. Okay. And also fairness, looking into these men and women, both must have equal opportunity. And when we try to get the data, we have problem in gathering data because everybody want to protect their data. So, but in Malaysia, they promote this open data, but not all of us want to share the data, right? So that is the main issue in Malaysia, privacy and security. So once we get the data, then we will choose an algorithm. Okay, so we have hundreds of machine learning algorithms. Okay, so but most of them based on deep learning, they use black box in which you do not know how they make the decision, how they come up with the solution. You may choose some other technique. For example, you use decision tree, very transparent how they come up with the rules. But in deep learning, using CNN or LSTM, you cannot tell how they come up with the solution. So there is no transparency there. So in choosing them, this is one of the issue again. Of course, deep learning will give you higher accuracy, but then in terms of explaining them, you cannot explain why you reject the application of loan application of certain applicant, or you reject this candidate when you try to employ them. Okay. So once you choose an algorithm, then you can train them. But again, we look into accountability, because the model or the AI solution will react based on the data that you given to them. So whoever trained the model will be taken into like the one who should be considered accountable if something wrong with the system, because he's the one who model, he's the one who trained the model using the data that they have. So this is very important. Reliability, safety, and control. So all of this must be taken into consideration when you train the algorithm. And then the rest you can choose the language. So we have so many tools or platform that we can use, and then final development, and then deploy and monitor. Okay. But the critical part is here. Okay, so looking into that, we will look into the dilemmas and challenges in deploying AI-based solution. So if we look at the diagram here, so the first thing that we look into is the bias and fairness. Okay? So AI system can inherit biases from their training data, which means that the training data that we use is not enough, or not complete, or wrong. Okay, so leading to unfair or discriminatory outcomes. So that's why if you use ChatGPT or Copilot, they are all depends on the input that given to them. So whatever you type to the system, it will be considered as input for them also. So if you're giving wrong facts or wrong information, they will learn the wrong fact and give you wrong conclusion. So that's why in ChatGPT you need to log in order to use that system, because they will do profiling for you. So they will alter the content given to you based on your profile. Okay, and most of the system that we use at the moment use deep learning. So they use black box. Black box means you give input, you get output, but you don't know how they learn the model, how they look at, how they map the input to the output that they have. So we cannot explain. Okay? So that's why there is no transparent decision how they make the decision that they have. This lack of transparency can erode trust and accountability. And the next one is AI system often require a large amount of data. So when they say AI system, they look at deep learning, because when we look at the intelligent part of human being, we look at images. We look at the capability to express our reasoning using natural language processing, which is text to speech, speech to text, and also do reasoning, and also vision. How do we process the image? How do we process the video, and so on. So these are a lot of data that we have, and where should we get the data from? Okay. Because the most expensive part is to gather the data, pre-process the data, and 80% of the time we will do that one, and 20% we will do the modeling. And since everybody want to use AI, but they already have their legacy system, so how do we integrate the AI technology with existing system that we have? So what we can do is we can create API in order to communicate with the legacy system. And also the AI deployment raises ethical questions such as potential for misuse and abuse of AI technologies. So this is very interesting. Some people feel lonely, so they chat with ChatGPT. So some of my friends mentioned that, wow, when we talk about real life environment, they're able to give you opinion. But I will show you later on some of the misuse and abuse of AI technologies. And last one is it worth to invest in AI project? So what is the return of investment? So we do not have the concrete benchmarking on how do we calculate the return of investment. So these are some of the dilemmas that we have. Okay. So I want to look into the bias and fairness. This is the actual example that we have in the real world. The first one is this is a compass system in which they design an algorithm to determine how much hukuman yang perlu diberi kepada pesalah, supaya jangan rasa macam sedar lah. Okay. So what happened is that they build the system based on the information history data. So di sini they said the compass algorithm correctly predicted reoffending at a rate of around 60% for both black and white defendant. So that means 60% of the sample that they tested give the correct prediction, which is they will reoffend again, like do the same kesalahan again. So 60%. But in real result, they say that 45% misclassified by made by black defendant as higher risk compared to white defendant. So that means they do not have enough data on the color skin people. So that's why they have higher rate of misclassified or error here. And it mentioned also 77% classified black defendant as higher risk when all other variables such as crime, age, and gender were controlled. That means they only use these three. So that means this is prone to the black people, to the color people. So this is not fair because they do not have enough data to train the system that they propose. And this is affecting people's life. Another case is that they use AI power hiring selection tools in order to hire people. So, but they say, okay, the system that or the software that they have always reject applicant over 55 and for women and 60 years older. So, which means that the trend data that they have is only consisting of young people. Okay, so because of that, the company settled for 356,000 because they have discrimination based on the age. So this is the example shows how AI can perpetuate ageism in hiring practice. So this is one of the bias and fairness. Okay. We also have this AI facial recognition. Where they scan millions of driver license and then they mistakenly identify this person as the person that they are looking for. So as I mentioned just now, we have similar problem when we were in Germany when we do the testing. So people of color, because not many sample that we have, because due to the feature of the face dark and very hard to extract the feature of the face. So this is the facial vision technologies. We also have this credit scoring. So this one is used to evaluate people on the financial issue. So this one, they have this one's software where they automatically evaluate people based on the history or based on the demography of the user. So this one, they said that the white home buyer having an average credit score of 57 point higher than black applicant. So not enough data for them to train the model, but still they use the model that they have. Okay, so next, how much time I have?
Don't worry, Prof.
Okay, so
Continue.
misuse and abuse of AI technology. So this is real example. Okay, so maybe there's one or two that feel lonely, so they chat with this ChatGPT or Eliza. So they're expressing about the climate change, but it turned out that Eliza said you can solve this problem by killing yourself. So eventually the ChatGPT managed to convince this guy to kill himself. So not very good. We also have this Englishman. They dress as Lord Sid from the Star Wars. So if you watch the Star Wars, so he said that he wanted to assassinate the Queen of England. So based on this, this is encouraged by the chatbot. So that's the misuse and abuse of AI technologies. We also have this AI generated swatting used by this young fella here, teen from California. Okay. So if you look at the I think the reason why they use this one is that they want to close the school. So by what they do is they used AI generated speech and synthesize voice to report false emergency to law enforcement. So resulting in heavy armed police being dispatched. So if I may, I try to get the knee, but if you listen to, if you get this slide, you click on this link and you can listen how the actual AI generated and speech synthesized voice was generated. It responds to the emergency. So whatever the emergency asks, they will respond with the appropriate answer. Okay. And we also have this deep fake. So this one, they want to silence one of the journalists through the deepfake attack. So what happened is that they use the deepfake to feature in a deepfake pornography video. So she has revealed that apart from psychological trauma and violent physiological reaction, they have bad experience. Okay. And also deepfake, this chief finance officer was scammed to transfer around 200 million Hong Kong dollar. So using the deepfake. Okay, so if you are really professional or if you don't have anything to do, you can do this. Okay, and we also have this 4chan user. Have you heard about this 4chan user? So 4chan is a researcher that working on this chatbot. So what happened is that they mistakenly train the chatbot and use that one in order to create exploitative and inflammatory racist content. So very racist. So what happened is that they come up with some tools or rules or direction on how to avoid censorship and so on. Next one is the South Korean abusive chatbot. So this one has 750,000 users. So they use this one to train the chatbot that they have. But apparently, because in social media, there is no filter. People use some of the head wood, and what happened is that the chatbot use abusive and sexually explicit terminology. So whatever they get from the social media, they will reuse again in order to communicate with the user. This is similar also chatbot. They use the AI voice cloning and the celebrity head speech. So they engage in threat of violence, racist commentary, and various form of misinformation. So it all depends on how do we train the model, train the chatbot. It depends on the input that we provide to them. Okay. So looking at this misuse and also fairness, how do we address this dilemma and challenges that we mentioned before this? So we look back into this, the bias and fairness, transparency and explainability, data privacy and security, integration with existing system, and so on. So the first one is we need to use diverse training data. And diverse training data means that if this is for not testing your algorithm, but actually to deal with the real life. So you need to get the complete data, not biased to one side only. We also need to perform bias audits by testing the system, how many percentage correctly classified for certain group of people and so on. Bring many stakeholders. Different perspective is better to get the input for your system. Okay. And the next one is transparency and explainability. We need to develop AI system with explainability features. So which means that if we use deep learning, then we need to have another AI that can interpret or can document the process of modeling the AI system. So at the end of the slide, I will show you some of the effort that we can do in order to use AI, policing AI. And for data privacy and security, we use encryption that is normal, or we can use anonymization, in which we don't tell who's the owner or who's the details about the data. And last one, not last one, integrating with existing system, we can use API, implement AI system incrementally. Okay, so for the ethical consideration, so that's why the AI governance and policy development is very important. So we need to look into that, understand about that, and if possible, we have committee to look into the AI deployment in every agency, because at the moment all the agency wanted to deploy AI, but we do not have a centralized entity that monitor this. Maybe National AI Office can look into that, but I don't think they have enough resources to do that. So each organization should have this one. And lastly is we need to have a clear metrics and benchmark on how to measure performance and ROI. Okay. So what we can conclude, because we try to map the policy and also the process that we have in deploying AI. Okay. So what we can say about this one is that the policy should mandate fairness, aware algorithm, and regular data audits to mitigate bias. So what they're saying that the policy should contain this one. How do we create awareness about the fairness, about the algorithm? How do we perform audit for the data that we have in order to mitigate the bias that we have? The next one is the black box nature of AI model necessitate the development of explainable AI. So if you look at the diagram here, this is the normal process that we have for the AI deployment. So we need to have another part in which they will look into constructing the explanation about the AI method that they have here. So this is one of the emerging trend in AI. So